All right, today we're diving into one of the most incredible concepts in all of Earth science, the idea of the biosphere. Think of it as the living, breathing skin of our planet. And hey, just so you know, this is part 17 of our bigger 20-part series on Earth sciences from Virtualization Options LLC. If you've been following along, it's great to have you back. And if you're just jumping in, get ready, we're talking about the living side of our world today. Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty big question. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe, just maybe, Earth isn't just a rock with some life sprinkled on top, but is actually one giant, interconnected living thing? Just keep that idea in the back of your mind as we go. So to really get to the bottom of that question, we first need to define our terms. What exactly is this living skin we're talking about? What is the biosphere? You know, the scale of this is what's really amazing. The biosphere isn't just the stuff we see, the trees, the animals. Nope, it's a complete sphere of life that goes from microbes floating way up in the atmosphere all the way down to the bizarre creatures in the crushing dark of the Mariana Trench. It's as much a part of our planet as the rock and the water. And the sheer variety of life in the sphere, it's just staggering. So far, scientists have managed to name about 8.7 million different species. But here's the kicker. That's just what we've found so far. The real number, when you include all the bacteria and fungi, it could easily be in the trillions. It's this massive, complicated symphony of life, all happening on one planet. So how in the world does a system with trillions of different players actually work? Well, to understand that, we have to zoom in from the whole planet and start looking at the local neighborhoods of life, what we call ecosystems. Now, the most important word here is interacting. An ecosystem isn't just a random pile of creatures. It's a busy, working community where every single living thing is constantly interacting with everything else, and with the non-living stuff too, like the water, the sunlight, and the soil. You can think of it like a city where everyone has a job to do. And this is a perfect picture of that city in action. Just take a simple forest. You've got the trees acting as the power plants, turning sunlight into food. You've got insects working as the couriers, pollinating everything. Then you've got birds acting as pest control, keeping the bug population in check. And finally, you have the decomposers, the cleanup crew, who recycle everything so the whole process can start over. See? Every single piece is connected. Now, this incredible web of life isn't just found in nice, comfortable places like forests. Oh no. To really appreciate how tough and creative the biosphere is, we've got to take a little tour of some of Earth's most extreme spots, where life has figured out a way to thrive against all odds. First stop, the rainforests. Now just listen to these numbers, because they're wild. They cover a measly 6% of the planet's land, but they are home to more than half of all the species we know about. The sheer amount of life packed into these places is just mind-blowing, which makes them incredibly important for the whole planet. Okay, so from the heart of the jungle, let's plunge under the waves to a place that people often call the rainforests of the sea. We are, of course, talking about coral reefs. And notice the pattern here. They take up less than 1% of the entire ocean floor, but they support about a quarter of all life in the sea. They are just buzzing with activity, these biodiversity hotspots. And on top of that, they act as natural walls that protect our coasts from big storms. And for our last stop, we're going somewhere that might as well be another planet, deep ocean vents. You see, the discovery of these things completely turned biology on its head. Down there, in pitch-black darkness with crushing water pressure, you have entire communities of life that don't get their energy from the sun. They get it from chemical energy seeping out of the Earth itself. This discovery just shattered our old ideas about where life could possibly exist. Okay, let's zoom back out. Because all of these examples, the rainforest, the reef, the vents, they all point to one single massive idea. And it's this. Life isn't just a passive rider on planet Earth, it's an active participant. It has been shaping our planet for billions of years. It's a two-way street. On one side, life changes the planet. I mean, the oxygen in the air you're breathing right now, that was put there by ancient microbes. But on the other side, the planet shapes life. The climate, volcanoes, the continents moving around, all of these things control where life can go and push it to evolve in new ways. It's this constant dance that's been going on forever. And this really is the whole point. Life and the planet aren't separate things. They are one single interconnected system that have literally grown up together. They have co-evolved, each one molding the other in this endless dynamic relationship.
The Earth made life possible, and in return, life sculpted the Earth we recognize today.
So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. If we accept that life and the Earth are really one big system that grew up together, well, that forces us to ask a really important question. What's our role in all of this? Where do we fit in? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.